Generals. This is Gamer 1745 here with my good friend Arno.
Hello.
And we're going to be playing some War Thunder. Maybe, well, if you're probably just listening to this, it's probably after the fact. But next time, next Sunday, you can come and join us. Making sure that we are live on all the interwebs. It looks that way.
Doing the same here.
Yeah. Good. It's testing. YouTube, yes. Right. And Twitch. Okay, so we are ready. So let's go to battle. Well, I'm going to swing around the left side of the map. See if I can
this one, yes.
take out all
What
of my
tank are you
enemies.
using?
Jagdpanzer 4.
I'm going to scout a little bit.
That's
I know
cool.
some good places for that.
Yeah. He got him before I could. Okay. Yeah. Boom, didn't kill him. Damn. We hit his ammo, right? Circle around behind him. Hello, Ryder M. He just played Japan 4-3 and got 3 kills with the Ho-Ro. Nothing else. Well, I guess that's something.
Oh, this is a really good scouting spot.
Oh, you get... Oh, shit. Well, I just got taken out by a Chinu, too. Ryder M. You're only 1 assist. Though I have noticed, though I think it is superstition and not actual fact, that if Arno and I do well the first match, I sort of end up sucking for the for the day, and if we don't do so great, well then in the first match we normally do well during the day. And yes, good morning, ZZ.
Morning, Gigi.
See, I like feeling for the edges of the battlefield, for the flanks. Scouting everybody, at least in the more or less center of the map, it seems. I wish we could get back to having a few more players, more like 8 players or more, and we could set up custom matches again. I would set up World War II based. That's from the M55 down. The Chinu 2 wasn't paying close enough attention. See if it's still alive, but we're going to keep pushing up. Battlefield. And hopefully get back in time. Yeah. Ambush positioning can, instead of continue to just charge straight into the enemy until we get killed, might be a good idea. But hey, it's a good idea, better not do it. I think I'm just hearing our friend over there. Oh, there's also an enemy, which he got. We keep sitting here and waiting, watching the guys get killed. We move up and kill something. I think we move up and kill something. Good tactics are only so useful. Also be planning to move to where I was going to go. Hello, Italian. Anti-tank or anti-aircraft gun? There's a KV who just died. Well, I guess we could all jump into the air and make sure we lose this thing, but otherwise I think we've got it. There's somebody really low down. Go low down to, oh yeah, he, whoever he was, or people before. Yes, the 34T is very good in this game. Maybe more of a desperation move in real life, but in this game, pretty good.
Well, at least we won.
Yes, we did. And Arno is already ready. Ah, okay, so I'm going to start in the top spawn.
Yeah. What tank?
Panzer IV again.
Kouding it is.
Okay. Let's turn. Where should we stop? The best lines of fire. There's a T-34. Arno saw somebody, it looks like.
Yeah, as you. T-34.
Okay, let's fire at the thing. Maybe, oop. Somebody hurt me. Okay, coming around the side here, another T-34. Somebody just got him. Good. Okay. I was trying to destroy that tank car. Oh shit, I had to pay attention to my front. And I hit the T-34. Well, at least I tracked him and got his transmission.
You were 2 are over here, moving on our position.
Okay.
Two to the force.
Yeah, one just shot
Is
at
that
me.
a
Okay.
KV-1?
Okay. One T-34 down.
There's one behind this building. He's hiding.
Yeah, I still got this little... somebody else is going to get him. Yeah, the enemy's hiding.
Maybe this thing over here.
Yeah, that's a ASU 57. Let's see. Nope, I missed badly there. Somebody else got it. Good.
T-34. And another T. Jesus Christ! It's a whole horde.
Looks like they're KVs.
They're
heavies.
coming towards here.
Yeah, let me come out here where I get a line of sight on him. And he smokes
Another
up.
one. Jesus Christ.
They smoke up. So I can't see a damn thing.
And another 5 of them. What the fuck?
Okay, where? I see the indicator. I don't
One
see
moving
the
towards here.
Yeah, I see the indicator.
Giving his side.
Yeah, there he is. No damage. He's firing like that. Nope. Damn, the smoke.
Dropped Artie on the bunch. Let's see what they do. Oh yeah, that smoke is nasty. Oh, another T-34. Left side of the building.
No damage. Okay, well. And boom, a T-34 got me. Not the greatest armor in this thing, but has a very good gun. Armor for 4 O's and weak spots. Reading Rider M's. Yes. I'm coming, Arno.
Don't worry.
There's me and a Jagdpanzer or Hetzer.
Ooh, and there's a ASU 57.
Yeah.
Coming close towards here.
Yeah, I'm coming up.
But watch out for that thing. That's fucking nasty.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, now he's here. Moving to the left.
Oh, I hit a pile of stone. Okay. Let's see, I'm backing up just a little bit here. And Big D's here. Hello.
Hello,
Hey.
Vicky. How are you?
There he is. Okay.
And there.
And
What's
boom.
up?
What was that?
So what y'all doing?
War Thunder right now, live on the interwebs.
Oh, sorry about that.
No problem. You could join us if you wanted to.
Nah, I don't got it downloaded.
Okay. No problem.
Just.
Okay, well. Got Rex in front of me.
I don't know if you guys followed this, but did you guys hear the airman that was shot and killed with his sidearm, the M17? Was it 320?
No, didn't.
It was all. It was all a lie.
Ah, okay. Yeah, I know there's the controversy about the pistol.
Yeah.
I didn't hear that it was all a lie, but
Yeah. Apparently later on it came out that the dude was lying. They got a video of him playing with the gun instead of just like he said, he put it on his desk. Like no, he was playing with it.
right.
And when he did, he played with it and shot somebody else and killed him.
Yeah.
Nasty.
There, there are guns that do go off without the trigger being pulled, particularly when Nambu.
20 does.
Well, there's, like I say, the controversy. I'm not sure what the truth is on that. The Nambu has one of the Nambu semi-automatics. Not all of the Nambu has an exposed, I guess, sear you would call it, on the side of the gun for part of that. If that is squeezed, it does fire the gun if there is a round chambered and it's cocked and all that. So it can sort of kind of happen with that gun. That's the only one I know for sure that it happens with.
Yeah, it's it was some weird idea. Apparently, they thought they could basically like act like they weren't going to shoot somebody and still shoot them, and then it ended up just becoming an issue of guys where they had it in their holster. It would go off and shoot them in the leg.
Yeah, I don't know the reason. You know, I don't know that Japanese are really thinking in those terms. That's I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying I don't know. That from all that I know of the Japanese arms development, that seems a bit far-fetched. Okay, there's a KV that just got
T-34.
hit.
Moving to the right of this building.
Yeah. See if I can see it again. Looks like maybe he's heading back. Oh, there he is. No damage to them or to me. Yay. At least about me. I'm gonna reload. Trying for its turret, no damage. There we go. And he killed me.
Damn, he got me.
Uh-oh.
Oh well.
the 320 can go off though.
Well, yeah, I'm just saying that there's controversy over it. From what I've heard, they don't, you know, they don't have a super good, you know, clear what's causing it, if you know what I mean. So,
I know exactly what's causing it.
Okay, what?
There was a guy that did a video perfectly explaining it. I can
Well,
link it. I think. The whole issue with it is if your tolerance is off at all while making the trigger or the sear on the trigger,
right.
it literally, it's like a millimeter, like so little of a tolerance that you can have for these pieces.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta think they're producing.
Oh,
They're
a lot.
producing
Yes.
They're
Yes.
producing just a ton of them.
Oh, yes. Oh, if you have a, you know, a 0.1% failure total, that in the scale of armies, that's too many guns having a problem. You know, whatever the problem is, even if it's not going off, it, you know, like if it doesn't go off when you pull the trigger or it doesn't load well or whatever, you know, it shows up more than you would think. But
so here it is. This guy had done a 40-minute video you can watch later if you want.
yeah,
But what he did was he stuck a screw in the trigger to try to figure out how much tolerance there was, and I think it was like a millimeter or 2 millimeters.
right.
And if it's off by that much, all you have to do is jiggle the slide on top, and it shoots. And you have a negligent discharge with
Right.
just moving.
Yeah, if that's what's doing it, that's a serious concern for sure. I don't want to minimize that.
No, Sig keeps on trying to minimize that, and that's the issue.
Well, yeah. I don't know. Just making things to the proper tolerance doesn't always solve stuff, especially when you're talking military firearms. You know, you can talk about like a sporting firearm, like a precision rifle that's meant for the range or something like that. And this is one thing that sort of gets me when these guys, how reliable is your gun normally, not for it to go bang randomly, but just will it go bang when you want it to go bang kind of thing, load and whatnot. They do they drop the gun into, often a pistol, into a bucket of mud to see how well it works. Well, the problem is that it's a dirty firearm, not that it's a firearm that's been put into mud, because a gun generates its own dirt, because the powder will build up in a gun as you shoot it. So I could easily see if your tolerances and other settings within the design function, because they all have tight tolerances to a degree, but if your design is too much, relying upon that kind of the situation that you're describing there, then I could easily see that if you built all the pistols to the right tolerance, that you could build up whether externally generated dirt, like because you're out in the field or because you're shooting the gun, that builds up, hardens on a part, and then that makes the tolerance off, even if it was manufactured correctly.
And that's another thing. It's like, it could literally be your perfect example. There was a cop who was chasing a guy, and his gun went off in his holster. And he was like, what happened? Well, what they found out was he had caught the guy, like halfway caught him, and they tussled for a little bit, and the guy was able to get up and start running again. Well, in that, they had fallen in dirt.
Right.
and a little bit of dirt got caught in his, like a couple specks of dirt got caught in his trigger, and it was just barely enough, and his gun went off because of that.
Right.
It's like you can't have that tight of a tolerance where something like that can happen on a pistol that's not meant to be like a competition pistol.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. I mean, because you can do things in a competition, and so because you can go, you can go in and modify any of these guns, but and so because you can look at tight tolerances, and Lugers are designed and are set up with very tight tolerances, and they work very well and very reliably, considering how many millions were made and how old, because people often get their hands on old, worn out guns now, and especially if you're talking like a Luger, that you will have problems in some of those nowadays, but they're really good. Now it's just you got to get into the design function of tight tolerances and where and what, and the designs of the triggers. You just got to do it right. You don't want to over push elements. Oh God, dude, you're like moving around right in front of me. Pick a path. Know where you're going. I'm going to cross this little wooden platform here. I'm going to pick up speed and get up that little hill, or the ridge, or whatever you want to call it.
And it sucks too, because I like SIG. Like, I like the products.
Well, yeah, SIG. Yeah,
if they have like a product failure like this, it could really set them back.
Well, it is going to set them back. They've had a huge hit to their reputation. Again, I'm not hugely familiar with it by any means, as you can tell. But I do know that with that pistol, they've tried to make it as cheap as they can to sell it to the government. What's the manufacturing cost? And I think that is part of the issue, is making it cheap. There's not just SIG. There's a lot of modern plastic pistols out there that, to me, there's no reason for them to exist. Not that it's wrong that they exist, just there's not like you already have things like the Glock and other proven guns. Why is yours, whatever yours is, out there now? How is it different? How is it enough that you want to get it instead of somebody else's plastic pistol? And I don't think there's enough improvement or change or whatever to justify a lot of these guns as why you should get them. I don't know.
I mean, kind of. It's always so personal, depending on what you want, that it's kind of hard to say. But you are right on, there's not much of a difference on a lot of these weapons.
Yeah, and so it's not wrong that they exist, and people, companies make them, and it's not wrong that people buy them. I'm not trying to say that. It's just going like, how is this better than what's already out there on the market? And one of the things is it may be cheaper, and cheaper can be good in that, hey, you're not spending the money on it. Okay, there's a tank right in front of me, Arno, so be careful. I die. No, he lost his gunner and loader, and he's backing up. Let's see if I can shoot through this thing now.
Stripman to the left.
Alright, and you fired and didn't kill me.
Oh, yeah.
And now
Nice.
they're shooting my wreck over next to me here. Okay, I see something there. Missed. I think he's Swedish. Yep. Okay. Oh, that's a truck. shoot it with a machine gun. Shoot at the Sherman. Got the Sherman. And he got me finally. Some of these open trucks are harder to kill than tank. Low Panzer 4. No, 3, sorry. And, oh goody, I got anti-aircraft gun.
Yeah, SPA got me. Darn.
That's why.
Uh-oh, something's shooting at me. Out of its line of fire. And something, whether that or something else, killed me. Uh-oh. Normally I do well in this map, but today, But we're just generally getting our butts kicked. Oh, the enemy's already won.
Well, we got best squad.
Yes, we did. And mostly because of Arno.
Well, you're above me, but okay.
Yeah, no, yeah. Come on, good map, good teammates. Let's go. Let's go.
Oh. going?
I'm going to start on the upper left corner.
Sure.
Move down that side of the map. And
What
die
are you
very...
using?
Panzer IV. Or Panzer
Yeah,
IV.
sure.
Jag Panzer IV. Sorry. Jag Panzer IV. And I'm going to die quickly. And whatnot. Yes. Okay, let's see if I can get
Or
it right.
not.
Well, maybe not. I mean, it's not guaranteed, but... Trying to stay out of everybody's way, including Arno's if he wants to get around me. Because he's in a zippy thing and I'm in a... Hello, PJKJ1997, I believe is that. That's your name there? Okay, hello. SU. Okay, you went around the corner before I got stable. Okay, there's somebody up there through the tree. I fired and I missed. Okay, which is not a good thing. Let's kill this tree. And you missed me. Okay, hello, I can see you now. I still miss you. Not allowing for range well enough. There we go. And still low damage. But got you that time. The whirlwind is pretty cool. Okay, well, let's be bold and push up. Hello, you're up top up there. I see you now. Can I get my gun up there? There's two of you up there, yes.
Once you guys play, I'm gonna go watch something on YouTube.
Okay,
See you
cool.
later, man.
See ya.
Bye.
Oh, now there he's down here. Hello. And hit you on the no die spot. Okay, well, you're probably gonna peek out here next. Man, I am just not. There we go. Finally, a kill. You gonna be next to pop out? Who's popping out next? The only thing that's helping me here is they have a very little depression, so they've got to get up and expose themselves to look down at me to be able to hit me. And this person seems to have given it poking around. Yeah, some vehicles just don't up tier well. Germans generally do a little better because although their armor and often their speed are totally outdone, and I got a tank behind me here too, and boom, he got me, are outclassed, but they often have a gun that will penetrate an up tier, where some of those T-34s, these guys here, are just don't have that good a gun. So when up tier, they just can't penetrate the enemy. Like this thing here, this thing can kill this because this has the L70 gun on it. And it is a most excellent gun. It's just sort of slow, and the armor has some significant weak spots. And even when it's not that weak, it's still not that good if it's up tiered. Okay, we got the one guy around the corner, and maybe another guy a little bit further back. Oh, yeah, there he is. See that guy there. Okay, let's see. See, boom. He gets hurt badly, and now he's behind the tree, so I can't. Go away, tree. Okay, somebody got him. I see him out there. No, he's already in cover. Okay, there we go. Being bold, and he shot at somebody else. Let's see, where do I want to shoot him? There we go. Alright. Now there's a guy behind this big rock. Let's try going down here and maybe up like that. Okay, yeah, hello. You don't know I'm here. There's too much other noise going on. You're in a little T50. Boom. I see you. Let's see if I can shoot you. Nope, no depression. Right where I am? Okay. There we go. Okay, I see you coming this way, and I see you there. Damn, hit the dirt. Let's try to get over the top of that, into that Churchill. Hello, another Churchill. And he died. See, you get a good gun like this. Hello. Tank. Should we just let the BT go? Nah. Let's see. And got your engine. Wow. And I'm safe for the moment from you at least, but that's not from everybody. Well, let's come in at T34. Well, we don't even have time for that. Nope. And we're already ready, so we'll go. don't see why anyone would bring that in an up-tiered game. Oh, BT. Oh, well, you don't know why the BT7M was there. It could be somebody playing with a friend, and that's their best vehicle they've got, and the other person is driving the up tier. It could be that they don't have a very big lineup, and they only have, say, one, because a lot of people will try to go up the tiers faster, so they may only have like one vehicle that is on, say, the tier, and they have more slots, so they fill it with something else, and when that something else dies, they come in a BT like that. Early game, a BT would have good uses in, say, capturing points on some maps where the speed is more important than its armor or its gun. Saw the KV there. Not enough time to shoot it properly. Just knocked over the tree there. See bushes going up. Let's see if we can maneuver and not get killed or give our position away. There's somebody on the steps and somebody right down there. Well, got your breach. Let's see this other tank going up the steps. That was not a good hit. I've not forgotten about the one that I've taken his breach out, but, well, where did he go, though? He's putting artillery on me. He back up. Oh, he went somewhere and somebody got me. There are good reasons to bring, vehicles that have been up-tiered into the game. One is the challenge of playing the vehicle. Other times, like I say, if you had a vehicle with a really good gun, even though it is up-tiered, I'm probably going to get killed from the side here, it looks like. It might, yep, I see down there. Bushes, get out of my way. There we go. team is resurging. I'm going to push up. Well, we can take A. It looks like we might actually be able to turn this thing around. And no, I'm not going towards A. There's somebody out in the field. Hello. You went behind a building. And you died. There's an anti-aircraft gun who's probably spawn protected at the moment. So we'll wait a moment. Or 2 or 3. Still spawn protected. And now that he's moved. A critical hit on him. Got his engine. Let's see if I can take out his gun crew. Got him. Now for the T-34. For some reason oh, we're back again. Oh, turn. Yeah. Oh. There we go. There goes your breach. And somebody else shot you too. But you haven't died yet. Now you have. The thing behind you is just still protected. Let's shoot at this other thing here. That other thing there. Repositioned. Let's shoot at you because you're more dangerous. No, you're more dangerous. And to repair. Oh, too low. Somebody else got him. Well, we certainly did turn this one around. I think next match, let's go up to 5-7, Arno. drive some tigers. They're going in to kill them where they spawn. Yes, yes. There we go.
Yay.
We won. Okay.
Alright, 5-7 you said, correct?
Yes, if you would like to join me at that. We've got the Jagdpanzer 470 and the Tiger H1, as well as some premiums, but you got things like the Nashorn that's only 5.3, but damn, it's very effective, or the Waffenträger, which is another very effective weapon.
Yep, I'm ready.
But slow. Aha. Okay. I'm getting into Panzer 470 and I'm going to go to the right side of the map as opposed to the wrong side of the map. I just don't like those tight city battles. They planted trees in front of me. What are they thinking about?
Oh no, nature.
Well, I don't mind the trees, I just don't want them in front of me. There we go, that's a little more cleared out. Well, where are the enemy? The enemy didn't come over here, it doesn't seem.
It's
How am I going to get blown up if there's no enemy to shoot me?
was hit by something. I don't know where it comes from.
You might want to... Oh, you're immobilized. Okay.
Immobilized. 20 seconds repair.
Yeah, that's one. Oh,
Oh, there it is. Right there.
yeah. I don't have a good line of sight on whatever it is. If I were you, I might want to back up. I'm going to move back over here. Normally there's a good amount of action on this part of the battlefield, but not today. There's aircraft coming, 2 of them over us. Wow, how nice. Well, I'm going to move up. Oh, something just fired at me from, oh, the air. Okay, well. Let's go with the dash one. Come in with something without any protection from the air because we're getting killed from the air. Smart move. No good. Now they come there to see. I see you. I fired and I missed, which is not a good thing. And I died. Which is even a worse thing. Well, he died now. Now let's come in a tiger of sorts. And I died from air again. Where was Arno with his anti-aircraft gun?
Shooting on it.
Now we get to watch Arno shoot these guys down. Avenge me, Arno. Kill him. Take him out.
Reloading.
Put down your ammo box. It helps with the reload speed.
Got him.
Very good, Arno. Very good. The ammo box doesn't speed up your rate of fire, but it does help your reload speed.
I'm building it.
Yeah. Yeah, I see it there. I saw it pop in. I think they ought to make a animation of a truck driving up and a couple of guys throwing off some ammo boxes that created like a pile of 3 or 4 ammo boxes, and then it drives away. Oh, behind.
Shima, turning,
yeah, okay.
Turning.
Yeah, he's going high. Now he's back. He's over where you were pointing before. And somebody got him.
Something got him.
Yeah. He's already dead, Arno.
I know.
Don't waste your ammo.
I got more ammo than you think.
Well, you do realize the box will run out of ammo at some point.
I know.
It's not an endless ammo. How do you aim Ostwind 2? What do you mean? Like any other, like you aim an Ostwind 1, I guess. Yeah, I don't know what you mean.
I think he means leading the target.
Well, you got to lead the target. And Arno did very good at leading the target when he shot that one down just a moment ago. Maybe slightly behind from my perspective. Obviously, you hit him because you were zeroing in on him better as you were firing. I generally have figured out how far you need to lead them and then double it, because you're almost always, at least for me, always behind. And I watch so many other people shooting behind where they're.
There he is. Got him.
Yes, that was very good. Very good. Very quick. Very on him.
See him burning.
Yes. Yeah, I understood Ostwind. I figured it was an autocorrect or something like that issue. There is still some controversy, at least in my opinion, whether the Ostwind 2 actually existed. If it did, I don't think it looked like this.
Should have been up and under.
Yep. all of the Wirbelwinds and Ostwinds, to the best of my knowledge, and mainly specifically dealing with Wirbelwinds, but I think also the Ostwinds, were all rebuilt tanks. I think the one Canada has, which is a Wirbelwind, its hull is, because they've taken it apart to do some restoration work on it. The sort of top deck and upper part of the hull is from one tank, and the rest, lower part of the hull, is from another tank. So that these were returns to the, to one factory or another, which is very, very inefficient. I'm not saying Germany was wrong in doing it. Germany did a lot of inefficient production things. So as damaged, knocked out, whatever, Panzer IVs were coming back in, they converted a bunch to Wirbelwinds and a few to Ostwinds, so that these weren't specifically designed or built vehicles. They're more like, what the hell do we do with these? By the time they're showing up, somewhat outdated. Yeah, the Panzer IV is still mildly effective at the end of the war, but it's compared to the T-34-85 and even the Sherman, it still can knock the enemy tanks out, but is definitely have weak armor and whatnot. Did you get him?
No, that was the teammate.
Vehicle. So okay, we'll turn them into anti-aircraft vehicles, because of course by late in the war they're they are losing the air war. And so would they have built the Ostwind too?
50,000 Silver Lions.
Well, good for you, Arno. They so I don't think they would have built a twin gun mount specifically for the Ostwind. What they did have, and it was very few numbers, I think like 100 plus, not in the thousands or anything. I think it was, unfortunately, all of my books are all packed up in boxes right now and in 2 different locations, so I can't pull it off the shelf and look at it. But they did have a twin 37mm mount, and it had the guns, a one above the other, superimposed on top of each other that way, as opposed to side by side. So if they built it, and they very well might have, but it was probably just 1 or 2 or some minuscule number like that. If they built it, they probably would have used a pre-existing gun mount. Now, how would they have gotten those things to the factory? I don't know. That's also why I suspect that there's very few of them, if they existed at all, because something like a twin 37mm mount that they build a couple of hundred small production run, where are they going to find those laying about? They might have some, whatever city that they're doing their the rebuilds in, and sort of confiscate it and put it in the vehicle. That very well might happen. I'm going to start in the upper position and not in white. So that's my figuring on it, that it's since they're extemporaneous type guns anyways, or systems, I don't think they would be building special twin mounts for them. But Germans do a lot of silly things production wise, and even engineering wise. So maybe they did build a special mount for one, like, hey, we could design this thing, and they build it, and then oh, hey, we've got one of these laying about, we're building Ostwinds, well, let's do a special, because you have to, especially if it's wide, you have to build a different armored cage around it. Well, yeah, we can just weld up one of these things special for it. Yeah, it could happen. It really could happen, but I think it's a superimposed. Oh, hello. We're already here. Oh, Okay, he's behind the buildings in front of me here, Arno.
Roger.
Oh, yeah. I think he's an M18.
He is.
And Arno got him. See, Arno did good work there.
Holy shit. Direct
What?
to the left, M64. To my direct left.
Alright, I just saw a muzzle blast over here.
M64, I don't recognize that one.
I think it's a Taiwanese, Chinese thing. I don't see it. I see this other thing. I'm moving up on it instead of staying in a kill zone. There was somebody over here. I saw a muzzle blast. Oh, see, there was somebody over here. Where was he? Okay. Maybe that wasn't the one I saw. I'm just fascinated by all this stuff. Whether it's German tanks or just tanks of European theater. I'm not so fascinated by Japanese tanks. I mean, they're not necessarily good either. I was going to say they're not bad or something, but they're designed for, fighting in China against not against other tanks, just cheap ass production vehicles that are designed to shoot at people that don't have tanks. Well, I got your barrel, you got my machine gun barrel. Fair trade for the moment. I see another guy rushing over to there. That makes me think something fast. And he was just an M8 Greyhound, which mildly quick, but not that dangerous. Unless it has scouting, which it may have scouted me. So I'll move. Oh, that was a big bomb. So whether it's tanks or firearms, like talking with Big D a little while ago, yeah, that all fascinates me. I saw a muzzle blast right there. Another muzzle blast, but he's hanging out behind that building. So let's circle around. Nope, and there he's right down my barrel where my barrel was pointing. And my barrel turret flipped off, so be careful, Arna. Let's.
I don't have eyes on him.
He moved behind the buildings. I don't know much about Japanese philosophy in World War II for tank design. Did they just envision tanks as infantry support? Well, yes. Until, basically 1940. Well, in late 1941, in the Philippines. Oh, you got him. Good job, Arno. Where they do fight in the Philippines, and they fight some.
Oh, and the other one got me.
Stuarts in the Philippines. And you missed. See if I can hit you. And I hit building tanks, whatever. Storage tanks, not fighting tanks. And somehow I got your barrel. So they did fight American tanks in the Philippines, but everything is designed, or all their opponents prior to that had been Chinese, basically. Well, they did fight the Russians up in Khalkhin Gol, and they got their butts kicked. Japan had a very terrible industrial base. It also had very limited steel supplies. No, it's a truck. Hello. And I hit the wreckage again. And you took out my breach. And somebody else, and you're shooting at me with your 50. And I'm trying to, no. So, you know, to get the Japanese Navy to go into World War II, obviously, because into World War II proper, shall we say? Because yes, I don't know that this is a good idea. No, it isn't a good idea. What can I can do another one of these. Let's see, do I have? Yeah. Yes, we're gonna use the backup. You know, yes. You know, Japan in China, you know, is, you know, early stages of World War II for sure. But to get them, you know, properly to attack the British and the Americans, to get the Navy to agree to go to war, which is some of the silliest, stupid stuff you've probably ever heard. The Japanese army was basically controlling the Japanese government, and to get the Navy to agree to go into war, they promised them an increased steel allotment for their ship production. So you're already in such a bad position that you can't build. I mean, yeah, even the U.S. was to a degree limited by steel production as to, you know, how much they could build. But obviously the limits were hello, I see you. And you died. You have a really slow reload, probably about 30 plus seconds. So yeah, there's, you know, even for America, there's choices. But it's so bad in Japan. But they still go to war with the Western Allies. I get in 1941, you know, in 1941 it's almost too late. Had they gone to war in 1940, the U.S. shipbuilding program would be way behind from what it was. So it's almost like the stuff that was coming available in 42, 43 would still be coming available only in 42 or 43, because you can only rush it so much. Because they had started increased ship production prior to the start of hostilities significantly, or for America, you know, America in the hostilities, and they also start after the Soviet Union is at war with Germany, which gives Britain massive breathing space. So and it's also not just you know, militarily or production wise or whatever, you know, facts, figures on a you know, data sheets that we can look at, you know, how many tanks you're producing, or how good were those tanks, or whatever like that kind of thing. Oh, hello, and boom, I died. There's also the, you know, emotional elements to warfare. So when Britain is functionally all alone as a combatant, all of its previous allies are basically allies in, you know, exile. You know, you got the Dutch government. Yeah, they still control the Dutch East Indies, which is a pretty big resource-rich area, and they still have a significant army there. But compared to the Japanese,
Aruba, South Suriname.
Yeah, and you got.
Oh, you want back sheets?
Yes, you got those, but you know, your army obviously can't even stand up to the Japanese. You know, part of the Japanese army. You know, because it gets overrun in Indonesia, and it has no, you know, unless you were talking some small colonial units somewhere, it has no ability to, you know, have reinforcements. and it's only going to get weapons that it can acquire from non-Dutch sources, whether British or American. That's all they can get. So they're not I'm not trying to downplay what the Dutch could do, but they're no longer a proper functioning nation in the war at that moment, 1940. And obviously France is out of the war and all that stuff. So Britain's sort of fighting it alone. And had Japan attacked at that moment, even bringing in the U.S., but they could have, of course, in 1940 just focused on the British and the Dutch and left the Americans alone. You may have had a collapse in Churchill's government with I keep forgetting his name, blanking on his name more. Halifax, Lord Halifax, who was the other likely option to Churchill. Had he, his government, he would have probably negotiated some sort of armistice. I'm not saying a surrender. I'm not saying like Germany occupies Britain. Italy might occupy something like Egypt, and like how when the French left, the Japanese occupied Indochina. So Japan occupying like Singapore and Hong Kong and whatnot, and Malaya maybe. So I'm not saying they wouldn't lose territory, but colonial territory is what I'm saying. They would probably only lose. And so they would have, that would have been maybe the time to go in. But they wait until, more or less by December in 41, and this tells you how little Japan is paying attention to things. I saw the guy there. It's already sort of evident that, Germany's pushing deep, but they're probably not going to take Moscow. It's not anywhere from assured, but, it's right sort of on that edge. Will they or won't they? Probably from the Japanese perspective. But, so you've already put the Soviet Union into the war. And all of that. So they come in, they for a while, Yamamoto, the very good Japanese admiral, he's trapped basically aboard one of his ships. And it is the only ship that gets any air conditioning in the Japanese Navy. They actually air condition his sort of quarters because he's trapped on board and it's hot. It's in the summer. And so, the reason he's trapped is because they're very much feared that if he goes ashore, outside of the naval base, but even in the naval base, that the Japanese army is going to arrest him and or just kill him, because he is very much advising the higher echelons, because Japan still to this day is very seniority based, both on age, flat out, but also just years of experience at a particular job. So it's sort of a combination of age, and often it correlates, meaning if you've just been in the same job forever. But if so Yamamoto wasn't in charge of the Japanese Navy, but he had lots of influence, and the army wanted him gone for a while. Well, the army bribes the Navy with a significantly higher allotment for steel, so it can complete some of its ships that are sort of languishing in production, that don't just can't get finished because they don't have the steel to assemble the ships. But so Japan's steel needs, Japan's production, manufacturing needs are so limited that making cheap tanks is about all they can really do, and do everything else that they're doing. Now, obviously in the game we see some tanks that are fairly heavy, fairly big gun, that are World War II. Well, very much towards the end of the war, 44, 45, they're building some of these things, that I don't think ever leave Japan. You know, they're preparing for if there's an invasion, and they're gonna you know, fight the invaders. Oh, turn. Oh, good. We turned in enough time. Well, your turret crew's gone. We'll take the guy who's dangerous and put him out of our misery. And now he's going to keep backing up. And clipped him, but that's all. So he's going to repair. The other guy's going to repair. Oh, let's get up here before he gets repaired. And try to kill him. Hello. Bye. Where did that T-34 go? And, you know, that late in the war, they're stressing on you know, all kinds of elements. So they do find the industrial capacity to build some of these heavier vehicles. But if all you're doing is fighting the Chinese, who have very little tanks, they do have some, but they're basically all foreign production, and often things like Panzer ones and other stuff. You know, I'm talking in the 1930s. Well, why do you want to build, you know, waste effort on building good tanks as we would see them? You build tanks you know, as cheaply as you can. And also, Japanese armored divisions are not like Western armored divisions. They're basically hello. Okay. Basically infantry divisions that have very limited motorization. They're not, you know, not fully motorized, and they just have tanks attached, so that they're not like running around, you know, moving combined arms. Let's see. Okay, hello. Got the Locust, but the T-34 got me. You know, they're not, you know, rapid moving, strategically dynamic divisions that you see, you know, with Germany. And de Gaulle, you know, is the first French division that's you know, developed during the war, and that is more like a modern armored division, and he just barely has it a few days when he starts fighting with it. I mean, they're just creating the thing, because otherwise the French are either using their tanks as infantry support, all the, you know, Hotchkiss and Renault 35s, or they're using them just as sort of independent cavalry type units, you know, fast moving, but they're not combined arms. They're just a bunch of tanks, you know, that are around somewhere. So it's, you know, but, you know, obviously the Arno got killed. The Germans and the Americans and the Russians are all really getting the idea of all the unit can move around by trucks, no horses, no relying upon infantry just marching from point A to point B. Artillery is towed by trucks or prime movers or other things. With both, you know, the Russians, well, and the Americans, their heavies late in the war definitely have tractors, you know, and he got me. Tracked tractors, if you will, as opposed to wheeled tractors that are right through my machine gun port, it looked like. That are towing some heavier guns. So, yeah, all of that is going on in Europe, is where I'm fascinated by it. But why do that for China? And Japan's also having a fuel problem too. So giving lots of trucks and lots of fuel guzzling heavy tanks is a problem. So a few trucks to a division and a few tanks, they can sort of kind of support, and that's normally enough. Sometimes you design an army because of the limitations of your production. Sometimes you design an army because of your likely opponents, and sometimes it's a combination of both. What you shooting at, Arno? Oh, you got him. Good job.
483.
Yeah. Okay. Coming up around behind you. Moving on the enemy.
Thought I saw something over there, Kim, so watch out.
Okay. Thanks for the warning. Don't know what happened to that T-34. I'm going behind the bridge. Hopefully going to make it there alive. So far, so good.
Ooh, something is shooting at us. Yeah, and then damage.
Got Arno. Arno was unlucky. He was behind me, so I see a jumbo. So when the guy couldn't get me, he got Arno.
Clearly I'm the bigger threat.
Yes. Arno is the bigger threat. And another shot, not effective. Okay. Turn. I saw where that came from up there. He backed up. Okay, I see you pushing up, and something just shot at my location. Hello. And you got me just before I could get there and shoot. So Japan is, Japan is always doomed in World War II. It's doomed even just fighting China. Japan just is not nationally strong enough to subdue China. And if China even passively keeps fighting, just keeps falling back, keeps trying to keep some forces alive as a coherent military units, willing to fight some guerrilla wars, just keep that all going. China, you can keep Japan tied up to the point that Japan just cannot win. Now, Japan very much wanted peace with China before it declares war on the U.S. But it wanted a peace that allowed it to keep some of the territory that it had acquired. Not obviously a surrender of Japan to any other nation, or even withdrawing from mainland China, including Manchukuo, or Manchuria if you prefer. But so there was somebody right behind that. Let's see, that may tease him out, but only after I reload. Nope. Over there. Yeah, there. Uh-oh. We lost
Death Squad.
What's Ryder saying? I feel like the crates that are based off of one event of War Thunder doesn't have any use if you don't have Golden Eagles to actually open them. Yeah. Let's see. I don't use a lot of these, as you can tell. I've never opened a single one of these crates. You can look at like this one here. These are the possible vehicles you could get. Drop chances are very low. The decal here is average, what they're saying, and a camouflage here is a high chance. So if you want to buy one of these keys to open it, you're probably just going to get a camouflage, and to me it ain't worth it. So you can, well, just an icon here. So I don't do these. I don't recommend anybody doing them. It to me just isn't worth it as a, you know, gambling thing. I know it's a way they want to make money. Now, Singh asked me a while ago, is bushes just pay to win? Well, I've gotten most of my bushes from grinding. I don't think currently, but in the War Bond shop, some of these are bushes, but no, okay, no, it's a decal this time. So I've grinded most of my bushes. A few I have bought, but and the one time I will gamble is when they do the gambling for Silver Lions, just because I grind up enough Silver Lions that don't know what I'm going to do with them, so I might as well gamble them away. I will spend money on the game because I spend enough hours playing the game that is, you know, otherwise free to play, sure, but yeah, I'm willing to support the game that I like and play enough with some money. But that isn't gambling. That's knowing, like, oh, hey, I'm either buying a vehicle or I do have premium. I'm starting in the lower spawn point, Arno.
I was just slewing a bot.
No, yeah. That one, it was sort of restricted, so, but I'm glad you killed it. I didn't want to interrupt your playing to have you doing it. I got my bushes.
Just say it, so I at least know it's there, you know.
True. Writer saying, oh, okay, I'll go. You got your bushes from buying it. They didn't know you could grind for them until now. Yeah, well, that's partially what I'm trying to do here, is a little bit of advice and knowledge. So you can grind the bushes. That takes quite a while. It's every season, so it's every, what is it, 4 months or something, or is it 6 months? I don't know, however long the season. I think it's 4 months or whatever it is, that they update what the War Bond shop has in it, and you can only basically grind one bush. So it's a slow grind, but when they are available, you might want to, you know, grind for one, so you don't have to pay the Golden Eagles. And even if it was only available from buying them, well, they're not that expensive. And again, and I think most of the, you know, I think if I had an Indian account for War Thunder, the currency is Indian based, and so it's a lot cheaper. I think the Golden Eagles are a lot cheaper over there. I'm not sure on that, but I think it is regionally based. But even if, you know, you're not, you know, and you know, people in the first world can be not very rich, of course, because they're students or whatever else and don't have money to throw away. So I can understand you not having much money, but still, you know, how many other games do you just flat out buy and are, you know, $60, $80, $100 nowadays? Buying a few bushes for an otherwise free to play game there's somebody over there. I just normally go, oh, hello. You either don't see me or are rushing for the point or both. So spending a little bit of money and since you can use the bushes on all of your tanks, your various ground vehicles, and not just like on one tank. You don't just buy it and stick it on one tank and you got to buy another one and stick it on another tank. No, it's just single use per bush per vehicle, so you can have every vehicle have that bush on it. Yeah, I'm moving down below your line of sight, or at least line of gun. So it's not that big amount of money. And also, I will state this just as a general philosophy. I don't mind free-to-play games. I wouldn't so much encourage the gambling aspect, but I don't mind them having micro pay for things like camouflages, decals, even something like it might not be entirely micro for something like a bush or a premium vehicle, because it's otherwise free to play and they've got to have some way to make their money. It's when oh shit, he doesn't see me though. Now he sees me and not fast enough. They got to have some way to make their money. And now if I had to buy this game for like 60 or 80 bucks and then they're doing microtransactions, which I do know that there are games that do that, that would make me upset. Whether it's good enough to keep me playing or not, that's another thing, but still would upset me. It doesn't upset me that they are have paid elements. What if War Thunder added a oh shit, got shot in the side. What if War Thunder added a sub-tech tree so that you could grind tanks ourselves after grinding the main countries? I feel like it would be more organized at having a sub-tech tree on a specific thing. Yeah, well, they're sort of doing that now anyways. I'll show you after this match. At least that's what I consider what they're doing. I forget what it is. They've announced a couple of new nation trees are coming soon. But they've sort of done that with Israel, and they've sort of done that with some of the other nations.
A lot of new Dutch aircraft.
Yeah, but he's saying a sub tree that
I like that.
Yeah, not just putting in a few aircrafts in the in a tech tree, but or tanks or whatever, but an actual sub tree. I object to, even though I love the game here, and all of my criticisms are trying to make the game better, not hating on the game. I want to play a World War II game. That's one of the things I dislike about Modern War Thunder, is that they're throwing in, however balanced or unbalanced a particular vehicle may be at a particular BR, I still just want to face World War II vehicles. And mostly, Axis versus Allies kind of thing, as opposed to the British on one side and the Americans on the other. Whether even with other nations on the sides. No, I want to. If I'm driving a British tank, I want to fight the Germans. That's what I want to do, or maybe the Italians. But I don't want to, have to fight the Americans or the Dutch or the French or whatever. No, I want to fight World War II lineups. And they're putting in other lower BR vehicles are in the game now, obviously. But they're also throwing in not just like the German Sherman that's in the game, that's a premium and it's no longer available, and if it becomes available again, it's still going to be expensive, and so there's not a lot of them. That's okay, as a captured vehicle. But it's like so many nations have the M18 now, it's, why even have national lineups? Oh, well, they had the M18. Yeah, like after the war, not during the war. And they should, I think it was like 300 or something, German buy 300 M18s from Italy after the, I mean, Italy used them for a number of years, and then, I don't know how they bought or were given them by the U.S. Is that yeah, that's tank that's now dead. Whether they were given to them or sold to them or whatever, I don't know. But then later they sold them to the Germans, because they were even a bit slower on the rearmament, or being allowed to rearm and create an army. So they got a bunch of M18s. So why not give the Germans an M18? Well, I don't know why they wouldn't. I mean, it's a World War II tank. And when I was talking to Dino about this a while ago, he did look up, the Germans did capture 1 or 2 M18s, so they even had them during the war, but again, just a handful at best. And I don't even know, if they ever used them in combat, because it's one thing to capture one and take it back to, I forget, there was one particular base in Germany where they had a bunch of captured vehicles that they used for testing purposes. The German Sherman was used in combat, and there's also a picture of a Firefly that was I either lightly knocked out, meaning not like the turret popped and burning, but either damaged and knocked out or just abandoned. I don't know which, by the Germans, but it got German markings all over it and was used in combat. So yeah, I sort of object to throwing in, whether it's Japan or China or whatever, a bunch of post-war tanks that they did not use nationally, or they did not make, even because it just makes every lineup the same. Now, from the game production standpoint, there will be big gaps in lineups if you don't do that. So I understand why they're doing it. I just don't feel like it. Okay, what you're saying? I feel like those M18s were captured so that they could blend in with Americans. Well, I actually believe it's just simply they don't have enough tanks. Not because if you look at the German uses of them, almost in every case that I can come up with, whether it's German or Soviet or other captured vehicles, and they captured lots of French tanks, they're always heavily remarking them in German markings. And I've read of what it was believed at least one incident that I've read of, where some Germans in a T-34 got killed by their own side because they were driving towards the German lines, because and it was like silhouetted from dusk or whatever, and they saw the silhouette of clearly a T-34, did not get a good enough look to see any of the markings, and killed it as it came towards them. But it was a captured tank, and probably from a different unit, because if it's your own unit, you may know that, oh hey, Fritz and other Fritz and Hans over there are driving around in a captured tank. It's when you bump into some other German unit that doesn't know and just sees the outline. Oh, there goes somebody way out there. That friendly fire incidents are more likely to happen. And the one significant incident that I know of during the Battle of the Bulge, that Germans are trying to blend into the Americans, that's when they make Panthers look like a M10 tank destroyer. Can we see this here? It's in the premiums, I think. Is it in here that we can look at it? because it is in the game, often called the War Crimes tank, because they put a bunch of American markings. No, I don't think it's visible to me. If you have it, you have it, but and I do not have it. No, they didn't actually. They left what they did, and that's what I was sort of hoping to find here. What they did was, and I'm going to quickly go to 6.0 here. Look at a Panther. What they did, well, let's go with a more conventional Panther. No. What they did was add armor pieces to one of these, or to a few of these, to make it have the silhouette of an M10. So it was still the Panther turret under it, and it still had the Panther gun in it. It's just, and it was just thin pieces of metal that were shaped like an M10 turret. It wasn't like really any additional armor. So that's what they did. Yeah, the M10 Ersatz. Yes, that's the vehicle I'm talking about. So, but it was otherwise a German Panther. It wasn't any parts of an American vehicle. They didn't even put a 50 caliber on it to make it really convincing. I'm going to go over to the right side of the map.
Map lane it is.
I see dust. I see enemy tank. Oh, come on. And I see dead tank. Feel like they couldn't get 150 cal fast enough back to the factory, so they had to stick with the M10 turret. Well, I don't know how available 50 cals would have been for the Germans. Obviously, they had captured some. The Germans even bring back a few tanks from North Africa before the fall of North Africa that are, American tanks, not just British tanks that they bring back. So they, it's somewhere they could have easily captured some. And the Soviets continue to use the 50 cals on their Lend-Lease vehicles. The British on their Lend-Lease vehicles continue to use the 50 cal. Oh, that was weird. What was that weird weird sort of weird hash? Oh, there. Boom, you died. So they definitely had him around, but I don't know, like you say, maybe the guys that were putting it together in late 1944, they just they didn't have any availability and didn't know who to ask, who has a 50 cal laying around. Or two to put on the wannabe tank. And it doesn't have to be a working one. Why is my keyboard not working? That's weird. Well, Arno's going to shoot them as they come out of spawn.
At least annoy them.
Well, yeah. But as I'm sitting here thinking about it, why wouldn't they just make a wooden 50 cal? It doesn't need to work. It just needs to be there, and you can paint wood to make it look like metal. It just, and it's not something that's going to fool somebody close up. It's just supposed to fool at 50 yards, 100 yards, 1,000 yards, whatever. And so you don't need a perfect version of it that somebody's inspecting it wouldn't be able to tell that it's a phony gun. It's just supposed to look good as you're driving around and be able to, one, get first shots off, two, and boom, you got me. Yeah. And so just it's the whole concept for the, and I forget the name for the the operation to look like Americans, and there's multiple ones all sort of going at the same time even, but I don't know the names of them right offhand. It's to do two things. One is to get the Americans to not trust each other, and they started using all kinds of, not so much passwords, but questioning people about who won the World Series in what year, or who is Joe DiMaggio married to, things that maybe Americans would just know, but a German is not likely to. So that's just showing you the who are these guys we don't know. And so making the whole, response to what's going on, try to create friendly fire incidents, try to just slow up any sort of reaction to your operations. That's one element of it. The other element is the just see the enemy and get the first chance to shoot. Shoot the enemy before, like right now. Oh, there he is. There is someone, and somebody else shot at me. Let's move up to this cover here. And I feel like I'm being pressed from multiple sides, and I'm dead. So, just be able to oh, hey, yeah, oh, no problem, those are friendlies or whatever. And as you move along, and then boop, they open fire on you. And the tank closest to anything the Germans had was the Panther, being close to the M10, as opposed to the very rounded Shermans that the Germans were not making anything similar at the time. Now that's obviously a desperation place. You know, you're already losing the war, as it were. And looking for any edge. Yes, I saw the guy heading towards C. I'm just worried about guys being out in here, but maybe I just go deal with C and see if I live and not get shot in the side. Because it's desperation time for ourselves in this battle. Yeah, I'm moving up. Okay. You fired and you died. I'm getting shot somewhere, so I'm moving out of kill zone. Trying to decap here. Come on, decap. What? There's somebody still on the... Oh, hello. I didn't even see you here. And boom, I died because I didn't see him there. I didn't notice a Gaijin moves it down instead of it. Okay, I misread the T20. Yeah. Yeah, you just... you know. There's a lot to complain about with what Gaijin's doing. It just World of Tanks is worse, and I really like the you know, some of the more realistic games that are you know, where one guy's the driver, one guy's the gunner, and you know, that kind of thing for tanks. But the biggest problem with that is finding people to play it with you. And yeah, you can just get random people, but that's not necessarily very good because you're not a good coordinator, and people get tired and frustrated being like the driver. I know Eric, who I had a pretty good, you know, I mean, Eric and I are buddies, but pretty good relationship to driver and commander, but even he was getting frustrated with being the driver when we were playing those games, and I think Arno got a little frustrated just being the gunner at times, maybe.
Oh no, I didn't mind at all.
Okay, so, but, you know, but we got to find, you know, at least for those vehicles, a three-man crew, because you do need a commander to you know, be situationally aware, you know, spot where the enemy is and all that kind of thing. Even if you don't need, you know, a commander to tell the other guys what to do, you know, you just sort of, you know, the gunner and the driver could just, you know, agree upon things. You don't need to, oh, somebody's commander. Well, yeah, I get that, but there's sort of like, you know, like we're using third person here, but somebody looking around just to see what's to the right and to the left and whatever that you're not going to see if you're just looking out the front for the driver, or looking down the, you know, gun sight if you are the gunner. Where did they go? They were here.
Yeah, over
No.
to the left spawn.
Well, maybe, yeah. They went up there. Hello. And yeah, I'm sure I could push a little bit harder, get a few of my friends to show up, at least some of the days of a stream or something, but just, you know, randomly at whatever time o'clock it is, trying to find friends to fill out a tank crew for a few missions. Trust me, it can be hard to do. So, and like I say, I don't want to just, even if the game has good in-game chat that I can talk to with random people, they're just still random people, and just not as cool, you know, if you're all trying to drive a tank together. So I like these one-person driving tank games, and to my knowledge of any significance, there's two of them. There's War Thunder and there's World of Tanks. If somebody finds another one, I'm very willing to try it.
I believe there's one.
you know, but
you can command a squad. You can drive the Tiger for say, and I drive a Panzer IV.
now
Ron
there
drives a,
there is the enlisted game, which I just don't
no,
like
no,
well
not
enough.
enlisted.
Okay, I know.
What's it called again? Hold on, give me a minute. I'm gonna
Sure.
go now.
Sure. I'm willing to try something else, for sure. And I have a lot invested in War Thunder, so it's got to be enough better that I mean, it doesn't mean you give it my War Thunder account just to play something else, but to make it my main game. But I would like to see if Arno can come up with the name. Base capture, destroy enemy aircraft. I'll do that later, maybe tonight. And I know many of you know this. There's what, a few of you watching, been around. But I grew up playing war games, including HO and Micro Armor, which is even smaller, tabletop tank battle games with older people. I was still a child at some of these ages, so I say grew up playing them. That had one guy's house in his garage. He had a huge sand table, table that just had sand on it, that they would one day a week have battles, and so they would use he would before the battle started, before the people showed up, he would shape the sand table into different terrains, different whatever, and simulate certain historical battles or just other things. And they were tank on tank type stuff, that you're moving stuff around, rolling dice. And the other Micro Armor, they did other sort of styrofoam that done into 2-foot square sections that have terrain, so that it's modular, so you could put together the terrain you wanted. And that, so I grew up doing that. I would have loved to grown up being able to play War Thunder with damn well modeled tanks. And so I just still love this. This is still very much. Are you finding it, Arno?
Not that. Oh, hold on. What's this? The Call to Arms Panzer Elite.
Okay. Well, maybe I should check it out sometime. Would you post a link to that in the Discord server? Maybe down in the wherever, whether it's in general or someplace else. But I think we're going to call it a day now. So I want to thank Arno, of course. The list is more based off player, and the AI squad just never was. It just seemed like a way to spawn in another body. They just sort of clumsily follow you around. It did not add enough to the game for me to want to play it well enough. I mean, I played it some, but I think it's
in general.
Okay, thank you, Arno.
It's a YouTube link, but then you get the gist of it.
Yeah, sure, that's fine. And so, and I want to thank, of course, ZZ and M. Ryder for hanging out with Arno and I while we played today. I enjoyed playing, enjoyed chatting about things. So I should be back next Saturday with more Master of Command, and next Sunday with some more War Thunder. So hopefully you all join me then.